Hi, this is Murray from Second Time Tech, and today we're going to be talking about a couple of systems, and the title of it, of course, is Good, Inexpensive Gaming Computer System, and that's what we're going for. So it's not the exact lowest price that you can get, but it is the lowest price with good parts. So let's go through this. And I made two systems, one for the American market and one for the Canadian market. So since this is my fifth time doing it, right now the parts list I've got up is the Canadian one, so we'll do that one first. I used PC Part Picker, and I picked the CPU, and the CPU would be the AMD Ryzen 5 2600. And the reason why I picked that one is because it's way less expensive than the 3600. So in Canada on Amazon, it is $161.58. Now, the motherboard I picked was an ATX motherboard. And the reason why is for upgradability. You can do a lot more stuff because there's a lot more slots inside of it. So you can upgrade better. And of course it's AM4, so that's awesome. And it's a B450 board, which is awesome too. And so what I picked was the ASRock B450 Pro 4 ATX motherboard. And this one was from Canada Computes. I used them before. I know they're a good company, and sometimes they have better prices. So it's coming out of 3 different places this time in Canada. So it is $119.99 with a $30 rebate, and so it's $89.99 for the final price on that. So the next thing is the memory. And in order to save a couple of bucks, what I did was I found the G.Skill 16 gigabyte because I wanted 16, not 8. But instead of getting 3200, I went down to the 3000 megahertz because there isn't that much difference between the two. So I think it's better to have 16 gigs than it is to have the 3200 megahertz and only 8 gigs. So that is $68.99, and that is from Newegg, Canada. Now, the next thing I picked is the SSD. Now, there's a whole bunch of things about SSDs, but I'll get that into another video. So let's just say what I picked was decent ones. So I used 3D NAND TLC, and that's what I stick with. And for the Seagate Barracuda 500 gigabyte SSD, it's $74.99. And yes, it's not the least expensive one, but it's one of the better ones. It's got a good amount of total terabytes written for the drive, which tells you how long it'll last. What I put in here was the EVGA GeForce GTA 1650 Super, and of course 4 gigs, and that's from Newegg, and it's $219.99. So the next thing is the case, and the case that I found, I mean, I know everybody likes certain kinds of cases and stuff like this and whatnot, but I went for airflow and had some type of a see-through panel on the side, whether it be glass or acrylic. It just depended because we weren't going for an expensive case. So what I found was a Cougar MX330X, and it's an ATX mid-tower case, and it's $59.99, and that's from Newegg. Now the next thing is the power supply, and the power supply is a Thermaltake Smart BX1 550 watt 80 plus bronze, and it's $59.99, and that's from Canada Computes. So that's the list of those. I'll talk about how to get Windows and whatnot at the end of the video. So here, now we get the list up for the American market. And on the American market, I only used Amazon and Newegg because that's the way it came up on PC Part Picker. So the CPU, same CPU. AMD Ryzen 5 2600. $114.99 at Amazon. Now, the next thing is the motherboard. And again, it's an ATX motherboard. And again, it's another ASRock. But in the States, it is the Fatality B450 Gaming K4, because that's the better buy in the States. And it is $84.99, and that's at Amazon for that. Now, basically, it's the same memory. Actually, it is the same memory. It's the G.Skill 16 gigabyte kit, DDR4 3000 megahertz, and it's $61.99. Now, the next thing is the SSD, and the SSD is different because it's a less expensive one, and it's the SK Hynix Gold S31 500 gigabyte SSD. Now, these SSDs are the 2.5-inch ones. Now, this is very close to what the Seagate one is. I actually tried to look for this one, for the one in Canada, and I couldn't find it. Not in this size. They had the smaller ones, but they didn't have this size. But it's got a lot of good reviews, and it's a 3D NAND TLC SSD, and it's got a good amount of total terabytes written, so therefore it should be a good one. And it is $59.99, and that's at Amazon US. Now, the next thing is the video card. Exactly the same video card. It's the EVGA GeForce GT 650 Super, 4 gigabyte, and it's $169.99. There's a little bit of shipping on it, so it ended up being $163.98. Now, the next thing that we have is the case. Same case again. It's the Cougar MX330-X ATX mid-tower case, and it's from Amazon, and it's $59.29. Same reasons as what I had said before. Now, the last thing is the power supply. And the power supply I picked on this one is a 500 watt, not a 550. And the reason why is because I found an EVGA GD, which is a 500 watt, 80 plus gold certified. So it's a nice power supply. And I would much prefer that than a bronze at 550. It's $54.99, and it has a $20 mail-in rebate, and it costs $7.99 to ship. So therefore, at Newegg US, it's $42.98, and that is an awesome deal. Especially nowadays, power supplies have gone up quite a bit, and that's a gold, so that's pretty darn good. Now, that's what I've got for the American one. So let's talk a little bit about what I would do to upgrade it if I had a little bit extra money. What I'd buy is I'd buy a 2 terabyte drive, and what I would do is make sure to get a 7200 RPM. The next thing is Windows. It's not an upgrade, I realize that. You have to get Windows. Windows, or of course you can use Linux. Windows you can use for free. That's why I didn't add it in here. If you go to Tech by Matt, to his YouTube channel, he's got a video on there that tells you how to use Windows for free. So follow his steps, you can use Windows for free. Now, the next thing is if you want to get it less expensive, there's a place on the internet called SCD Key, and you can get it through them. But what I would suggest is go to Tech Yes City, and Brian on there, he uses them as a sponsor. And so a lot of his videos, if you go on to his show notes, he'll have the link there, and he'll also have a code where you can get an amount off, which is really nice. And so in the States, it's, I think, around $16 or $17 American. And in Canada, it ends up being $20 or $21 Canadian for it. So it's actually a really decent deal. And you get it like right away. But I've never had a problem with it. Every time I've done it, it worked fine. So, and he says the same thing with his. But anyway, and then the other way to do it is to go on Amazon and pay anywhere between $130 and $150, and you can get it that way. So whichever way your conscience feels like it's the best way to do it, then do it that way. But remember to add that to the price of what you are buying and make sure that it fits into your budget. And like I say, these systems are good systems. I guess that's all I have. I will look at my list and see what the next thing I'm supposed to be doing is, because I can't remember. And that'll come up next week. And I had the list up as pictures for each one of the systems there, so you can follow along through them. I will put the totals in the show notes just so that you know what it is. You can look there. So if you liked the video, thumbs up. Didn't like the video, thumbs down. I want to wish everybody a wonderful day. Thank you very much for watching and listening. Subscribe if you like. Bye.